If you're in a relationship with an Enneagram 3, then you should know that their ego is constantly telling them that you earn love by looking successful. 3s feel naturally inadequate apart from their achievements, which is why they're nicknamed the Achiever. And so they struggle to feel loved just the way they are, apart from all their accolades and shiny exterior. The way 3s handle this ego fixation will ultimately determine the quality of their romantic relationships. On that note, here are my 5 key themes to know if you're in a relationship with a Type 3 achiever. First, image is everything. Second, success is a shield. Third, move fast and feel slow. Fourth, authenticity fuels intimacy. And last, purpose comes from position. All right, friends, I just want to say that I'm on this journey with you, as I am married to a 3 that comes from a long line of 3s. So I've been told to tell you that you've made the best choice and there are no issues with your partner whatsoever. Okay, great. Now that they're out of the room, I can speak from experience when I say that the information coming up in this video is incredibly helpful for understanding and empathizing with your amazing partner. Let's get started, shall we? Just amazing. So good. 3s want to look good at all times and in all ways, which obviously includes their relationships. 3s expect their romantic partner to be a means for enhancing the quality of their life and not detracting from it, which is pretty normal. You don't want your life to get worse when you get married. But there's also this expectation that 3s have for when they present their partner to other people. It's typically not desirable enough for 3s to present their partner like, this is John, he's worked the same job for 10 years as a mid-level accountant, helps the kids with their math homework, and plays golf on the weekends. 3s need something spicier than that. Someone who embodies excellence or has like an immediate intrigue factor of some kind. That or John just needs to be like 6'4" with a perfect body and a great sense of humor. 3s, as the cornerstone of the heart triad, have a pool of shame around their identity, and intimate relationships jump right into the deep end of that pool. 3s try to overcome their shame by crafting this ever-adaptable image that fits into any and every social circle. They're often called chameleons because of their unique ability to blend in with totally different kinds of people in wildly different environments. This is why 3s make great politicians, because of their adaptability, but it puts this weird implied pressure on their partner to keep up with the ever-shifting goalposts of acceptable behavior. So if, let's say, you're prone to lobbing out controversial opinions at cocktail parties, you should know that's like kryptonite for the Type 3 soul. Trust me, I've been there. 3s exude poise, charm, and confidence, which is probably what attracts you to them in the first place. But it also leads to conflict if you're not used to the game of social politics that the 3 plays with their various communities. 3s feel like it's a good thing to win people over, but their partners are typically more quick to notice that the 3s are stretching the truth a bit in order to gain an important person's approval or affirmation. Ultimately, 3s just believe that their romantic relationship should look like a positive, productive collaboration amongst 2 highly capable individuals, even if things are totally on the rocks. And that's a perfect segue to our next theme, which is all about success. Success is a major part of every Enneagram 3's identity, and they often become workaholics because they're so identified with their career success. 3s put their heart into their work, and any threat to their success at work is a threat to their heart. 3s also believe that no one loves a loser, so you gotta win, or at least look like you're winning. That's why these first 2 themes really go hand in hand, because it's all about having a successful image for 3s. The problem this creates is that a successful image often becomes a shield, which both blocks 3s from learning the valuable lessons of failure, as well as becoming a heavy burden they have to carry through difficult times, because they can't ask for help. The slippery slope for 3s is when they start convincing themselves that they're only loved for their achievements, not who they are. And so they slip into this narcissistic obsession with hiding all of their mistakes, failures, or flaws. This can lead to getting constant plastic surgery to maintain the illusion of youth, or maxing out credit cards to maintain the illusion of wealth. Whatever illusion seems to be the most effective is the one that 3s will typically pursue, and it leads to 3s getting a ton of attention but having no integrity. It also makes it impossible for their partner to hold them accountable for any wrongdoing, because fragile 3s just can't bear the fact that they're lying to the people that they love the most, so they typically shift the blame to some uncontrollable circumstance that fueled their behavior. Typically, this shield of success has to completely crumble before 3s will finally expose their true self to the ones they love. And many 3s say that it took a huge career setback or personal tragedy of some kind for them to finally realize that the success they craved was really just an illusion of control. Ultimately, romantic partners that endure this kind of hardship alongside the 3 will find them to be incredibly open, honest, and committed like never before. And that leads us to the next theme, which is authenticity fuels intimacy. Threes can make incredible leaders because of their strong social instincts. They pick up on people's subtle reactions and have a keen eye for what people like or dislike, and this is even more amplified if they have a strong two-wing. But all this creates a dilemma for threes to either adapt their persona to what they know people are gonna like, or remain authentic and risk being rejected by the people they so badly want to impress. In romantic relationships, this characteristic makes threes great at the initial dating phase, where it's generally accepted that both people are showing an unrealistically positive side of themselves. But threes are super slow to let this phase transition to the next stage, which is that peek behind the curtain into all your past indiscretions and family drama. Threes are well practiced when it comes to tuning out their darker emotions in order to stay upbeat, charming, and attractive. Average or unhealthy threes have a really hard time coping with their shame and other heavy emotions, and so they get really good at compartmentalizing them. Once those emotions are all boxed up, threes pretend like they aren't there at all, which is a total lie. But that's the core sin for threes, if you will. They lie. Or rather, they deceive people, and they deceive themselves most of all. But average threes aren't deceptive because they're malicious, and many threes aren't even aware they're doing it. It's just a subconscious fear of their own emotions, which they believe are a major threat to their impressive reputation. Threes know that if they had to feel their real feelings, they may have to walk through some crippling grief, sorrow, shame, and/or depression that's definitely not going to help them earn that promotion anytime soon. It's definitely not going to win them any followers either. Now, a three's partner can't force them to rip open that festering box of emotion and then feel paralyzed for months on end, but what they can do is be patient yet persistent in their pursuit of emotional authenticity within the relationship. Threes often don't change something until someone else notices it and then lovingly calls them out for it. They're pragmatists, after all. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay, speaking of being patient, that leads us to our next theme, which is the three's tendency to move fast and feel slow. One of the most obvious traits threes have is their tendency to move fast. They are the kings and queens of multitasking. Threes have this ever-present to-do list filled with everything from major life goals to catching up with friends to everyday errands. Much of the threes' energy to accomplish all this stuff comes from their desire to outrun their feelings. If threes slow down, they start to feel stuff, and they don't like that. Feelings can be paralyzing for threes, and when threes start to feel overwhelmed with emotion, they start to disintegrate into the worst characteristics of the type 9 peacemaker, which looks like going totally numb in front of the TV with a bottle of wine or maybe something stronger. Threes really struggle with complex emotional situations, like the ones that normally come up in, let's say, a romantic relationship. So what do? Well, first threes start treating their partner's satisfaction like another goal to be accomplished. Things can get pretty transactional, like you tell me what you want, we'll do it, and then I'll go back to my other stuff, okay? This makes unhurried quality time with a three pretty hard to get because threes don't want to just be in the relationship. They want to do the relationship. Another reason threes like to move fast is because speed increases their focus. It's kind of like how race horses have blinders on during a competition. But the problem with blinders is that you miss a lot of stuff. And, well, threes don't mind cutting corners if it gets them across the finish line a bit faster. This can lead to a lot of half-finished tasks around the house, or some things just getting totally ignored because the three got swept up in something way more interesting or important. Now, when a three's partner calls them out for all this kind of behavior, it can actually have the opposite result they intended, as criticism just makes threes move even faster, work even harder, and neglect more shit. Speaking of conflict, threes prefer, you guessed it, a quick solution to every argument. So they're often way more willing to throw out a flippant sorry if it just ends the fight and lets them get back to what they were doing. It's too bad that real reconciliation is a slow, uncomfortable process in which the threes has to face both the ways they've hurt their partner and the way they've been hurt. Threes are often so skittish about conflict that after a few fights in a row, they start seeing the relationship as just some kind of like suboptimal product that needs to be left behind in favor of a more successful venture. They think, we tried, didn't work out, no hard feelings, let's just move on. That, or they just become like totally platonic business partners with their spouse, and that's no fun. But it's often just the ego's fear of intimacy, which we just covered in the previous theme. All that to say, be ready to slow things down in your relationship with some healthy conflict if you're seeking emotional clarity from a three. Okay, time for our last theme, which is all about the three's sense of purpose. One of the most important things you can do in a romantic relationship is support your partner's passion. And threes are deeply passionate about their work, as it gives them this existential sense of purpose. This passion, mixed with their inherent leadership potential, leads them to take one of two very different positions, leading from the front or leading from behind. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with being the head honcho and leading from the front, but many 3s crave leadership positions because it fuels their narcissistic tendencies. But that kind of ambition doesn't motivate or inspire people the way that a truly humble leader does. Now, 3s that have a healthy sense of self take on the best traits of the Type 6 loyalist during what's known as the movement of integration. Integrated 3s shift their focus to the good of the group, the needs of the family, and developing other people into their best self. 3s with a healthy sense of purpose stop craving fame or popularity and instead start shining the spotlight on other more deserving people. That kind of humility coming from someone as charismatic and capable as the 3 is what makes them the most influential and inspiring leaders possible. This movement of integration tends to be unmistakable to their partners because healthy 3s become incredibly committed to the relationship and will endure profound adversity together, even if it means enduring some public scrutiny. Healthy 3s feel calm and at ease with life in a way that lets everyone in the family feel like everything's gonna be okay. And they know that leadership will always be in their DNA, and with just a slight tweak in their position, they feel far more fulfilled and connected to the people they love the most. Okay, and on that sentiment, we are done with the 5 relationship themes for the Type 3 achiever. Just one brief bonus topic left, which is the 3's preferred love language. As a refresher, the 5 love languages are acts of service, quality time, words of affirmation, gifts, and physical touch. Now, when it comes to the preferred love language for most 3s, I'd say words of affirmation is near the top because they are relentless in their motivation, support, and encouragement of their loved ones. Words of affirmation also take the least amount of time out of their day, and since quality time or acts of service would probably be their lowest love language, it just makes sense. Now, when it comes to the love language 3s prefer to receive, I'd say it's also words of affirmation with either a mix of physical touch or gifts coming in second. 3s love affirmation, so physical touch and gifts can both be like a tangible form of that affirmation or like a prize for their successful behavior. But hey, if you're a 3 and you feel differently, let me know in the comments. Okay, folks, that's a wrap on this overview for the Type 3 Achievers relationship themes. I've got videos on each Enneagram relationship pairing for Type 3s coming out next, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the new episodes as they become available. I thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I hope to see you again on You've Got a Type.